What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with another episode of 54 Yards. It's a little bit different this time, as y'all can see. If y'all saw the last episode of our new show called 54 Yards the week after, it's virtual, you know? We decided it's more efficient this way. So going forward, you'll probably see us more on the virtual side of things than in person. As much fun it is to get in person, you know, you gotta make do with what you got. But none other than the homie Cam.
What's good, everyone? What's good, everyone? As Carlos mentioned, this is 54 yards, but virtually. If you guys haven't tuned in, we did the week after show, which premiered earlier this week, and we're going to be doing those as well moving forward earlier in the week. So make sure you guys tune in for that. You get the full recap from the previous week games, instant reactions, and just kind of talking over some points and things we saw. But we got a loaded slate as well. This is another good weekend in college football. One of the bigger weekends as well. We're kind of getting closer to Championship November, where the games are starting to mean a little bit more for a lot of programs around the country. And whoever said the expanded playoff was a bad idea just didn't know what they were talking about. They wanted to be a traditionalist because I'm looking at.
I feel like this season might be a little bit rigged here. Hold on. The first season of the college football playoff, and it's like this. Ain't no way.
But I'm looking at the slate, man, and I'm just like, back in the day, you lose a couple games, you're already out the mix. Now there's Kirk Herbstreit literally said it the other Saturday. He's like, there's 30 teams that can compete for those 12 spots. So there's a lot of games that do matter. There's games you probably wouldn't be watching even though they were ranked games in the past. You're like, this is the ranked teams playing, but it doesn't really matter because they're not going to make the 14 playoff or compete for a conference title. Now there's games where it's like Missouri is one of them. I mean, they only have one loss. They're ranked 21, but that's a team that can still make the college football playoff, right? So super excited.
You got Navy and Army.
I'm excited about
UNLV, Boise State. Big game on tomorrow.
Well.
So
yeah,
there's
I'm excited.
But like I said, I feel like might be a little rigged this season. First season, the college football playoff. I think here, let's expand it more. Here we are.
Well,
look at this.
They were going to expand it more anyways. They wanted it to go to.
No, I don't think it's rigged, but it's 16 great year of football.
Yeah, they wanted to go to 16 teams, so I'm excited. But starting it off, as you guys, if you're new here. We usually break down each person's team that's on the platform. Unfortunately, Steve isn't with us, so we won't be talking about Baylor, and Shonee isn't with us as well. But we still got a Texas fan in the house. But I'm going to start it off as the Oklahoma fan. We're going to Oxford to the Grove. We're playing early, which thank God we're playing early. Yeah,
we're both early.
Yeah, which is crazy. Texas finally having their first road SEC game week 9 of the season. A little sketchy in my opinion, but hey, we won't say anything about that. We won't say anything. Vanderbilt's actually a good team too, so
Yeah. But go on.
But
you'll have it like this one year, so I don't want to hear it.
But we have Ole Miss on the road at the Grove. Ole Miss is a heavy favorite in this game, probably due to the lack, of offense from Oklahoma, and obviously the firing of Seth Littrell. There's really just a question mark of what's going to happen moving forward with that unit. But the storyline: Oklahoma, we're 2-3 in the last 5 games. Our last one was coming off a good performance, in my opinion, from the offense on the road against Auburn. Yeah, we didn't do a ton of things that game, but we had some explosive plays. We had 2 plays over 50 yards in that game, and we also didn't turn the football over in that game. And it was on the road with a true freshman. But nonetheless, the offense has regressed. Obviously, in the week after, we just recently fired Seth Littrell. There's a ton of good coaching candidates on the trail right now that we're going after. But, fired Seth Littrell, and I've been hearing all kinds of things inside where, he would get flustered, things like that. Game plan would go out the window during the game and stuff like that. But, we're going to be starting Jackson Arnold. He got the nod with Joe John Finley. Joe John Finley, if you guys don't know, is from the Jeff Lebby tree. He's coached under Jeff Lebby. He's coached under Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, things like that. So he can run that system. He's obviously never called plays, so we don't know how, from a game script standpoint, a game plan standpoint, what he'll prepare. But, nonetheless, they're going to have Jackson.
Who he reminds me of?
Go ahead. Who?
The pawn store guy off of Men in Black 2. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I'll show you real quick. We'll go on.
But we got Jackson starting. He's set to return. I think he put on a good showing after coming into a game that there's really no chance to come back in once the game was over in the first. I'm dead in the first 5 minutes.
You're telling me you don't look like that?
No, not. I mean, a little,
That's what he
a
reminds me of.
little, but
That's what he reminds me of is.
I'm excited, man. I like I said, I think this season's interesting now because obviously, literally Oklahoma would have to win out to go to the playoff. 9-3 with this record, and the teams you lost to would get you there. Maybe that South Carolina loss is bad, but still 9-3 with this kind of schedule would get you there. In my opinion, is what I said at the beginning of the season. Now I don't think we're gonna win out, obviously, but I'm excited just to see kind of what it looks like moving forward. The team really has nothing to lose, and I think we're going to be playing spoiler this season. The roster is still good enough to beat anyone they play on the schedule as long as they don't turn the football over. Very good defense, and in my opinion, we match up really well with Ole Miss from a defensive and offensive standpoint. Their offense has kind of got shut down as of recent. Jackson Arnold lit it up in the beginning of the season against some weaker teams, but as I've gotten into conference play, he struggled. And against a team like Oklahoma, who does well against similar offenses, Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, these guys kind of all run similar offenses. Venables has seen it a ton, and we also have the athletes to match up with them. Now, will we be able to score ourselves? That's something in question. But I do think we actually can go into the game with a plan, which is hold the football and snap it when you don't have that much time left on the play clock, and just play good defense. Don't punt the ball. You make it a sloppy, ugly game, kind of like Kentucky did in their win against them, right? You can win this game. You can. So, some things I'm looking forward to. I really want to see really our secondary versus their wide receivers. They have really good wide receivers. The run game's kind of It's very hit or miss. And our defensive line is one of the best in America, so I don't really think they're going to have success running the football. And I think they will be behind the chains a lot, which will cause kind of that matchup between their good receivers and their secondary to really our secondary to really be showcased in light. But go ahead.
I don't think Jackson Arnold lit it up against all the bad teams that y'all played at the beginning of the season.
I didn't say that. I said Jackson Dart.
Oh, Jackson Dart. Okay, I am sorry.
Yeah.
I heard Jackson, and I didn't hear the Dart, and I thought you were talking about Jackson Arnold.
No, I said Jackson Dart.
Okay. I stand corrected. I apologize.
Yeah. But Lane Kiffin's decision making is one of the things.
Oh my God, Jackson Arnold's QBR this season at 28.4.
Yeah, I'm sure most of that's from that Tennessee game. That shit was terrible. But because
okay, in the Tennessee game, his QBR was better than Connor Wegman's QBR against Notre Dame.
That's insane to me.
It was his QBR in the Tennessee game was I think it was a 1.5. Yeah, 1.5.
What was Connor Wegman's game against Notre Dame? It could have been less than a 1.5. That's insane.
I think it was negative.
Bro, that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure it was negative. I'm showing them.
Yeah. What? That's what? No way.
34. Oh
yeah. I was like, no shot.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe he's not. Okay.
Yeah.
But even then, 12 for 30, 100 yards and 2 picks. I don't know how that's a 34. But
the completions are 12 for 30. I didn't realize. I thought it was 12 for 20. But Lane Kiffin's decision making. If Ole Miss goes up big early, he's let his foot off the gas. The only way a team gets up early on Oklahoma is if we turn the football over. If we don't turn the football over, Ole Miss isn't going to go up early on Oklahoma. I mean, the only reason they went up early on South Carolina was because they turned the football over.
But you're going to have to prove that you don't turn the football over early because y'all are, turn the football over in general, even early or not.
I mean, we've only turned it over early in
general. I just said turn the football over in general because y'all have turned the football over at least once every game, I feel like.
No, it's only been in the 3 losses. And then we turned the ball over against Tulane, but we were already up. We've only turned the ball over in the games we've lost, and then obviously in Houston, the Houston game. But we had 6 turnovers. They didn't get any turnovers against Temple. The Houston,
So it's Houston, Tulane, Tennessee, Auburn, right?
We didn't turn the ball over against Auburn. No, 0.
And then us and then South Carolina.
But this is where the games get catastrophic, is what I'm saying. We turn the ball over because it's not just one once,
But
and then
regardless, even though
yeah,
y'all haven't returned the ball over every game, it's averaged out to at least one a game at most.
for
I mean,
sure.
at minimum, one a game.
Yeah, for sure.
So
But
you're gonna
and
have to
we
prove
but
that you can't turn the ball over.
yeah, and we also got to create turnovers too, which we are pretty good at doing. But like I said, it just can't be catastrophic. Like, yeah, turn a ball over sucks, but the thing with Oklahoma, it just snowballs. It's been like against Texas, turn the ball over back-to-back possessions. Against South Carolina, turn the ball over 3 times in a row. Against Tennessee, turn the ball over 3 times in the first half. They're just so catastrophic to where, and the offense is so bad to where that completely derails the game. I mean, that's what's happened in all 3 losses. So
Yeah.
you got to be very conservative. Obviously, you got to take shots because Ole Miss's secondary isn't that great. LSU just showed that last week. I mean, they completed a pass on 4th and 12 for like 65 yards in that
Yeah,
game.
but
Their secondary isn't good.
you can't
It's
compare Nussmeier to.
this I know, but I'm not comparing that. I'm comparing this. Their secondary
I
isn't good.
understand that, but I don't think it for right now for what y'all are just going through,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not even just trying to talk, just for what y'all are going through, like all the injuries, new person calling the plays, a
Yeah.
quarterback that's going back in that lost his job, like just for everything that y'all are going through, I feel like even if a secondary is bad, that's still like it's still I guess a good against Oklahoma. Does that
Yeah,
make
but you
sense?
gotta test it.
For sure.
Regardless of what it is, you gotta test it. You still have guys like Brennan Thompson. He's been wide open in every game we've had against everyone. Now you got to get him the football. You got to make the reads. You got to protect. A lot of the protection issues is due to the scheme, slide protection, offensive line, bringing a tight end in, having him block the best players on the opposing team, like defensive ends and shit like that. Just unacceptable. Now, Steve, he makes our outline if you guys don't know, but he had another point on here. The body language of Oklahoma with a college football and SEC championship out the picture. How will the players respond during the most brutal stretch of the season? I think they'll be fine. I mean, you have people like Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, who came back for this season. Obviously, they didn't expect it to be like this, but even in the game even in all the games where the offense has turned the ball over a lot, the defense hasn't folded. They played great defense. They've still kept the defense at a high standard. They've done their part of the side, and I think that's what they're going to continue to do. Now, there could be a boost in the arm for the offense, right? When you lose, I've been on a team where coaches got fired in college. When that happens, you as a player, you feel some kind of responsibility in that matter, and also with this kind of firing at a big time program in the middle of the season, you got to know not only as a staff, because the rest of the offensive coaches there, they got to coach with their hair on fire, like because their jobs is on the line. If you bring in a new OC or whoever, doesn't matter. Bill Beaningbow, all these guys that Emmett Jones that we are great recruiters, good at developing. Everyone's jobs on the line, regardless of bringing in a new OC, replacing the staff. So you got to coach your hair on fire, and then also as a player, you have to think the same way because it's not back in the day where it's like, oh, my job's secure. Yeah, we're recruiting these guys but they're going to maybe have to sit for a year or they're going to have a couple freshmen play. No, you got the transfer portal now. So with that being said, you can overhaul a roster completely. You can also, an OC might want to come in and pick some guys from his school, especially if he comes from a big time program that, kids that got recruited to that school want to go play for that OC or whatever the case may be. So everyone's got to play like their job is on the line. And I think that will increase the success, some of the success at Oklahoma on the offensive side of the football. Will it be good enough to win the games that they have on their schedule besides Maine? I'm not sure, but I do think the product will be better than what it was. I mean, it can't be no worse than what it was. That's all I'm going to say. So, all in all, I don't have a great feeling about this game. I do think we covered the spread, though. I think 20 is a lot of points. The defense is really, really good. And I think, Kentucky was able to go in there and beat them. And if you with the lane, like I said all off season, regardless of how good Ole Miss is, they do tend to be kind of a soft football team if you make it competitive and physical, which is what a lot of teams, when their losses, is what teams have done to them. So they don't have a drastic talent difference over Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a better roster than them, but I mean, especially on the defensive side of the football. Obviously we have people hurt, but regardless, we'll just see what happens. I think we cover the spread. I don't think we win the game, but if we win the game, you prove me otherwise.
They do have a good front D line though.
D line is nasty,
But
nasty.
y'all's offensive line is what struggles is the
But
thing.
another thing too, I wanted
But
to
what
talk.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say as well is sure y'all have the defense to like hold them, but when your defense is on the field as much as y'all's defense is, this whole season, like at some point the defense is just gonna fall off just because they're just tired from having to do this the whole season.
100%. And it's just you're human, right? Like if your offense doesn't give you a chance, you're getting these stops, you're getting turnovers, you're getting
It's
the
frustrating.
ball in good position. It's frustrating. It's like, why are we doing this, right? So you obviously, as an offense, you got to come together with the game plan. You know, you're limited on offense. You know, you probably need if you can get to 20 points, great. You feel like you could probably beat anyone you play on the schedule, but you got to know if you got to help them out. You got to know, okay, hey, we can't move the football. Let's run the ball. Let's chew clock. Let's have long ass drives. Even if we only get one first down on this drive, let's take 5-6 minutes off the clock if we can. Like
Yep.
let's make the game as nasty, condensed as possible to give that defense a chance, right? And I think too, I think a lot of teams are going to kind of see, especially on the defensive side of the football, they've seen, you know, Texas get a ton of sacks against Oklahoma, South Carolina get a ton of sacks against Oklahoma. I think teams are going to see, okay, this is a game where we can get a ton of sacks. So I just think naturally, as a defensive player and a D lineman, you're like, oh, like if I can get to the quarterback, I will. I think that's going to create some plays that can be made if we actually scheme some stuff up, like screens, shit like that. Taylor Tatum, he can't block anyone in pass protection. Okay, fine. Let the guy let him miss, and then shovel it behind him. Run plays like that to kind of at least keep these defenses a little more honest. And these are also simple plays. Draw some stuff up. You can do some stuff that's very simple and can help your offense get jump started. Because screens are, you know, that's an effective play if you can block it right and call it and dial it up.
Especially in college.
Yeah, you can get a ton of yards off those. So I just want to see some creativity. We don't need to be running Brendan Thompson at the line of scrimmage. He's fast. He's not a line of scrimmage receiver. He's a gadget go type of wide receiver. Like just use your personnel right, please. Like I know you're limited, but like you can scheme up better than what we've seen. So
Yeah, it'll be
that's
interesting. I mean,
yeah, that's all I'm gonna
first
say.
game calling a game and first time calling the game, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
um, against one of the flagship schools in football on the road.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's gonna be tough, and their stadium's very small,
And
and
it's
the
an
fans
early
are
game.
and it's
Thank
early game,
God.
and the fans are right on top of you. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, even then, I mean, this is gonna be um, you're saying us on the road for the first time in a
Mm-hmm.
month, but like this is still gonna be JA's first time on the road and tested on the road as well because he didn't play in Auburn. This is
Yeah.
I feel like this is worse than Auburn.
No, from a
You
crowd
know,
standpoint, it's not even close. Auburn's way harder to play in than Oxford.
we'll see,
That's what I mean. Even most SEC people say that too.
we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I mean, I think we said on the last show. I don't know if y'all make a bowl game. Unfortunate as it is for y'all. Happy it's that way. All those times you said never seen 5 and 7 in my lifetime. Well, here you go. Taste of your
we're
own medicine.
we're gonna make a bowl game, bro. If anyone we're gonna beat, it's gonna be sorry ass Missouri. I'll say it right now. They're not good. We'll
Maybe
beat
we'll
them.
see. We'll see. You still got to win another game after that because y'all have
For
4 wins, right?
well, no, yeah, we're gonna beat Maine. Like, come on
I
now.
mean, if
But
y'all don't
like,
beat Maine, you just
let's relax. They're not
hey,
gonna
if you can't
score.
beat Maine, you better just hey.
Yeah, but they're not gonna even score. I
And
mean,
BV gone.
for sure. That's they're gonna beat Maine. All I'm saying is you beat Maine. Shit, they win this week. Hey, hold on now. 9-3, like I've been saying. Get hot at the right time.
No.
It's,
That's not happening.
I honestly don't want them to go 9-3 because I do not want Joe John Finley. I want him gone. I want one of these premier OCs.
Okay,
So I
but
kind of
what
want
if he is a premier OC? Like you just don't know.
Nah, bruh, nah. I mean, if he does dial it up and
Yeah,
I'm
like
like,
you just don't know.
I
Like
just
this
don't
is
trust.
his.
I just
This
don't
is
trust it,
his.
bro. I could just see him
Like if you
fluky
see
together.
just a very. I mean, if you
I
just
mean, if
see
he does, then
positive.
hey.
Oh wait. Why
I
fix
kind
it?
of just
If it
want
ain't broke,
someone.
don't
I
fix
kind of
it.
just want someone that's like new.
He is
You
new.
know. No, he's not. The fool's been the
Oh,
one.
like new to like okay, I
Yes.
understand what
Well,
you're saying.
the thing
New
is,
to the program.
he can't even recruit well. Like, I mean, his tight ends, he misses on all the local tight ends in the area. Dude ain't landing nobody. He can't develop no tight end. So that's another reason I want him gone. Fuck the play calling. But anyways, enough with Oklahoma. Let's jump into the Texas game.
Oh man. Fun fact: Texas is tied in first place for the most ranked games this season so far. I think Arkansas's we're tied with Arkansas. So they played the most ranked teams and we played the most ranked teams. So everybody trying to say our schedule is easy. Well, here you go. All right.
I mean, it's probably by like one. Like, I mean, we played y'all, Tennessee.
We played the most ranked team. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's
Anyways,
fine.
going to our game on the road, 3:15 kickoff at good old Vandy. I don't know what their stadium's called. Do you?
No, but I know it's in Nashville.
I know it's in Nashville as well, but good old Vandy. Coming off a loss, man. Coming off I don't even know what you want to call that loss. That's a forget about it, throw it away type of loss. Look ahead. You know, we got it handed to us. Just learn what you learn.
It is
Continue
what it
to
is.
grow. It is what it is. A lot of football ahead, and just keep pushing forward. But
Mm-hmm.
like the way our guys responded post game during this week's media crunch and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Love the answers they're giving. They seem like just to still be on track and still have that hunger. They understood that they didn't play well against
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, and then
Mm-hmm.
they owned up to it and saying we gotta come correct. Basically, I know that's always the cliche thing to say, but like I think the culture that Sark has built as like truly like they truly mean that like
Mm-hmm.
we're still gonna attack, we're still gonna get better, we're gonna see what we did wrong and try to fix those problems going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But again, not a game to take lightly. We saw what happened in Alabama. What was that, week 4, 5, 6, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and went on the road to Vandy and lost. I think the biggest thing in this game is going to be containing the quarterback because he can run a little bit. I do think we win this game without an issue just because I think they're going to be pissed off, especially the offense side of the ball. So I think we're going to get back to. Because, all right, even though we got whooped on the offensive line side to an extent, I don't think our offensive line is that bad. Like it
No, it's
wasn't
not.
as
It's not.
bad.
It's
It
not
wasn't
bad
as
at
bad as it
all.
showed,
It's
and
not bad at all.
it really didn't show that it was bad. Quinn just didn't help out the offensive line because there's
Yeah.
plenty of times where he could have just stepped up in the pocket and bought himself more time and let the
Mm-hmm.
play develop as well. But
Mm-hmm.
he just moved back and side to side where the pressure was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he wasn't helping the offensive line out at all by making them look worse than what it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to get back to the football that everybody's been seeing with Texas and take care of business and win this game. I'll read y'all the outline Steve wrote. The Longhorns are looking to bounce back on the road after a tough home loss to the Georgia Bulldogs in a game of capitalizing off mistakes for both teams. The Horns suffered the most lopsided loss as the number one team since 1982. The last time that the Commodores and Longhorns matchup was in 1928, and I'm pretty sure Vandy won, and that's I think they're one like their record is 1-0,
Yeah.
and it's to Vandy. Oh yeah, and which Vandy won. However, almost 100 years have passed since the story of these programs cannot be any more different. But we are 2024. They're doing their thing, making noise, and everybody's kind
Mm-hmm.
of high on Vandy, saying they're legit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have a shot at making the SEC championship, right? They're
Yeah.
five
I
and two,
mean,
2-1 in the conference, and I
yeah.
think everybody's gonna have one loss in the conference. Obviously, it goes off who you beat and whatnot, but
I mean, their schedule's kind of.
their loss
No, it's not
is
light.
to it's not light at all.
I thought it was for some
No,
reason.
it's not at all. Their loss
Yeah.
was to Missouri. The game did go to overtime, and it was on the road, so they did play very well.
Yeah.
But they're taking care of business in other on all the other games. Like,
Yeah. The Georgia State loss is crazy to me, but it happens.
yeah, it is what it is. You can't do much about it. But that is definitely a loss that you don't want to have. So you should only have one loss on the season. Really, no losses on the season. For being honest with
No, for
with each
sure.
other,
Which is crazy.
they should have beat Missouri,
Yeah.
but Again, it's not obviously it shows that they're not a team to take lightly. Um, I think we do bounce back. I think that I mean I'm not gonna look at this anymore because I mean
Yeah,
if it feels anything was last week we were supposed to win the game by a million, not a million, but I think we had like a 70% chance to win.
yeah, and y'all were like 5 point favorites at one point.
Yeah, so um, you know, I think we bounce back. I don't think it's we're gonna start off slow or sluggish or anything. I think it's I think that loss was very much needed. I think
Mm-hmm.
it and that's the type of game and type of team we want to lose to because it kind of shows you where you're struggling or exploiting the weaknesses that you do have.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you wanna correct if everybody you're playing can't exploit your weaknesses, then it doesn't benefit you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you play a great team like that, if you can beat them, not that it shows that you don't have any weaknesses, but it shows that you can take care of your own. Then if you lose to them, it just shows what you need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we needed to lose that game, and it was good for us to lose that game. And I don't mind losing that game just because it was two. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that game taught us a lot about the team that we have and what we need to do going forward. And I feel bad for this Vanderbilt team because I think we're just going to put a whooping on them. Defense is going to continue to do what they do. I don't think that him having the ball in his hands with just throwing or running is going to be a problem. I don't. I need to. I haven't looked, but I don't know if Drew is out. Do you know if he's out?
Who?
Andrew Mbuka.
Yeah, I think he might be out. I haven't seen that the
They haven't said anything yet. I don't
well
think
the reports are supposed to come out today
tomorrow
or tomorrow. I think they might be out already. Let me
they
double
might
check.
be out. But if you want to
Because
double check on that,
they
so that
normally send
is
like the initial ones out on Wednesday.
yeah. If you want to check on that, because that is a big, I guess, loss. But I
Yeah,
still
hold on,
don't
I got
think
you.
that will hurt
Um,
us.
so y'all's injuries, yeah, he's doubtful. And
Doubtful.
then Isaiah Bond's questionable, Wisner's probable.
I'd rather have doubtful than out.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but I still don't think that's going to be a big issue. I think it's we do have that next man up mentality, and I think that's one of the best things to have
mhm,
um, in the game of football. So
mhm,
like I said, on the defensive side, I still think we take care of business. On the offense side, that's obviously where we struggled last week,
mhm,
and people are going to want to see what we got in store on offense because we just
mhm,
couldn't move the ball. So I think we bounced back in a very strong way. I think we shut down um, the Vanderbilt hype and kind of turned them into what y'all are as season ruiners. So yeah, I think we catch a dub. The spread is 18.5. I don't think we cover the spread.
yeah, I think I win by like 14,
Yeah,
17.
I don't think it's going to be over on the points either.
Oh yeah, because
We'll talk
Diego
about that
Pavia,
later.
he likes to. I mean, that's the thing. He's a gaming type QB, which I don't think will work against y'all's type of defense.
Yeah,
But I also feel like their offense is suited to just hold the football, which will limit
yeah,
possessions.
but you can't really do that against our offense. I mean, our
No,
defense because they're just if you try to hold the ball, they're still going to stop you to where you're going to have to throw the ball.
yeah, I agree.
So, um, yeah, no, I think we bounce back. I think it's gonna be a good win. Um, making us still one loss in the conference and still have that SEC championship alive. So, I'm looking forward to the game. It's at 3:15, which is an awkward time, but it is what it is,
Hmm.
and look forward to getting this dub on the road.
Yeah, it should be exciting. I'm excited to just see y'all go on the road in the SEC. Obviously, it's not like a big time environment yet, so I mean it could be, but I was telling a cat off camera, I was like, hey, like the game's in Nashville. It's not hard to get there. Obviously, Texas fans have money, so I feel like now like Vanderbilt Vandy fans will show up, but I still think like half the stadium's going to be burnt orange.
Yeah,
So
it's not a far drive or flight. It's not. It doesn't take long to get there, and it's in Nashville. It's not just a place like it's a college football town, but it's Nashville, Tennessee, where they
mhm,
have so much to do. Not so much, but they have a lot
mhm,
of stuff to do where you can enjoy a weekend out there. So that's
mhm,
another reason why I think we just travel well.
mhm.
But on here, Steve asked who wins a turnover battle. Well, who wins a turnover slash penalty slash big play battle, and I think that's us. Um, the big plays for sure. the penalties, probably the turnover battle. I don't know if there's gonna be many turnovers in this game. They protect the ball. I feel like really well, so it might just be just defensive stops.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Cool.
yeah. So we got some news. Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter and Boise State Ashton Genty trade words amongst different platforms this past week as both student athletes spoke to different outlets about their current seasons, personal feelings, and Heisman race. Although both spoke highly of each other's performances thus far, both shared the sentiment that who they are. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost. Of who they are, and basically what was said was why each other deserved the Heisman. Like why Travis said why he deserves the Heisman. Ashton said why he deserved the Heisman. Um,
Yeah,
I don't. This one's hard
very. I agree.
because like what Ashton's doing hasn't been replicated in a long time.
Since Barry.
But the thing is, it's who he's doing it against just isn't. He has some, I guess, like the Oregon game in there.
Yeah.
Um, they play UNLV tomorrow. So he has, I guess, good teams that he has played and done it against. But I think it's just the lack of good teams that he is playing week in and week out is what hurts him.
Mhm.
When Travis is in a Power Four conference and he's dominating on both ends of the ball still. So to
Yeah.
have almost 100 yards a game, also creating turnovers and shutting down the receivers and making tackles, um, I feel like that speaks more volume than the rushing side of the ball, where you're doing it against these teams that aren't quote unquote that good.
Yeah, but the thing I'm gonna counter with is Travis has had some games where he hasn't really done much on offense and a receiver either. Um, and like, yeah, his stats are good. Obviously, he's playing both ways. He has 604 yards, 6 touchdowns, and like, yeah, Genty isn't playing against the same competition as Travis Hunter, but since he's doing it at running back, which is still hard to do, he's averaging like, I think Genty's averaging probably 200 yards a game, which is ridiculous. Like even like right now he's averaging 9.9 yards a carry. Um, he has 1,248 yards. He has 17 touchdowns. And I also look at it like this: Boise State, they probably teams know that he's getting the rock. They know he's the best player on the team. And like when you actually watch the players, obviously Travis Hunter does some fantastic things, but like when I watch Ashton Genty on tape, he just stands out to me as like, oh, this dude is clearly the best player on the field. Like no matter what, the tackles he breaks, things like that. I think for Travis Hunter, for me, for him, obviously, like we've seen Charles Woodson win the Heisman. We've seen Tyrann Mathieu be close, other players like that. But I think if Travis Hunter was to do it for me, I think his production at wide receiver needs to have a little bit of an uptick to pass Genty, in my opinion. I think he needs to I think he can't have games like last week where he only had 17 yards or whatever the case may be. I think he
Yeah,
needs
but
to
if you
have
watch last week's game, it was a complete shutout, and uh, what's his name? Wester just, I mean, that was just his game.
how
That's
many
all
picks
it
does he
was.
have?
He has
Two?
two picks. He
Okay.
has two
So like
picks, and then what's PD?
pass breakups, pass deflections.
Oh, pass deflections. Okay, he has three of those. Um, and then no sacks or sack yards.
No forced fumbles, no fumble
No.
recoveries. He has no touchdowns on defense yet
Total
either.
tackles 18. No touchdowns on defense yet.
I feel like for him to win
He
the
has
Heisman,
one forced fumble.
okay, that's good. So I feel like for him to win the Heisman, I think if he gets 1,000 yards and like 10 to 12 touchdowns on offense, and then maybe one or two more interceptions, I think he would be the best candidate. But if Ashton Genty, if he gets, I mean, this fool's on pace to have 30. Let me see how many games does he have left? Um, you could probably pull it up too for the
Yeah, I can pull
viewers.
it up. Yeah.
Um,
They're playing on Thursday. Big game for them on Thursday. But
let's see how many games they have
oh,
left.
sorry, Friday.
Because
They
they, yeah,
have one, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left.
Yeah, so 6 games left, and he's
But it just
averaging.
all kind of depends on how he does in these 6 games. The biggest game is going to be obviously this week against UNLV at UNLV and Oregon State, just because it's not a Power Four school, but they're just a bigger name
Yeah,
than what you've been doing it against, like Georgia Southern, Portland.
he did against Washington
I
State. That's
would
a good
say,
game.
yeah, he did against Washington State.
He had 290.
Uh, two
12.
259, 26 carries, 259, average 10, scored 4 touchdowns. Longest was 64 yards.
Okay. And then again, the Oregon game, he had like
The Oregon
almost
game, he
200.
had 102. Oh no, wrong person. 192 with 3 TDs.
So if he's averaging 208 yards a game right now, and if he does that, if basically he's on pace to have 2,500 yards and 35 touchdowns. If he does that, I think he has to win the Heisman because that's just that's insane at running back, especially right now in today's football. Like, I just look at it as from like, yes, Travis Hunter is different, but in my opinion,
But I also just look at it
how many
as
players are as good as him on both sides of the football? They just don't get the opportunity to do that because they're not getting coached by Deion Sanders, who's going to let someone like him do that. Do you think he'd be doing this at Florida State? I don't know if they'd be letting him play both sides of the ball like this. I feel like they'd have him pick.
I just look at it as you are playing both sides of the ball in a conference that's a go-go offense conference. So you're constantly on the field without taking breaks on both sides of the ball and still being productive on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, but like I mean, the replication at running back is like, I just don't like. I think you'll see a Travis Hunter before you see another Ashton Jeanty type season, in my opinion. Obviously, it has to be based off a situation and like who's going to let someone play both sides of the ball. Because like I
But
mean,
do
we
you,
talk
do
about it
you
in the
think you
NFL.
could take another running back, like Sampson
Absolutely
from
no,
Tennessee, and like
no,
him go to Boise State and him do what he does? Because he's
no,
averaged almost 100 yards a game at Tennessee,
no,
and he's playing a harder
because
conference.
yeah, no, because his runs aren't even remotely close to his. Go to Twitter and type in Ashton Jeanty run, and just they're
Well,
complete.
I understand what it looks like,
Yeah, it
but
just he like the thing. I don't think Dylan Sampson's not breaking tackles like that, getting lateral, cutting across field, making that many people miss. His runs are just big ass holes, and him just creating yards off those holes. That's why I think Ashton's different. Because the thing is, he's not getting like a ton of touches either. Like he gets a lot of touches, but I mean, he's averaging 10 yards a carry, so that just shows he's just super explosive. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like Dylan Sampson has 144 carries. Jeanty has 126 carries, and he has 1,250 yards. Like that's kind of drastic. Like he has 20 less carries and like what is that? 500 more yards than him.
I guess that was like the first running back that came to my mind. I guess the other one would be like Jordan
who's
James.
Who's the leaders in rushing yards right now? You could type that in too. I think, yeah, or yeah, it's down. Caleb Johnson,
Iowa.
And how many carries does he have?
132.
He has more than Jeanty, you know?
Yeah.
So like that's how I look at it. Is like, I mean, he's not even getting as many touches as some of these dudes, and he has. It's not like he has.
I just look at it from the competition standpoint. That's just where I'm looking at it
for sure. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think these guys are doing what he's doing in this league.
Because like Iowa State's a good defense. They're not a good defense, but they just play hard football. Ohio State, good defense. Washington, they're not a good rush defense. Or no, they're a good rush defense, not pass defense.
I feel like
Michigan State's okay.
I feel like the only way to really make a real argument with this too is if Ashton Jeanty didn't go off against Oregon. But the fact he had damn near 200
But Oregon's
yards,
defense just isn't. I don't know.
They're not bad, bro. I mean, look them up statistically. They're probably like in the top 50 in the country.
But they also didn't play nobody.
But still, You can't
Okay,
discredit. You
but
can't
you're discrediting Texas because they didn't play anybody and how their defense isn't that good. They just have to play somebody. Well,
for
Oregon didn't
sure.
play anybody.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't discredit what Ashton Genty did against a Power Five team and say like he doesn't play anyone, but he's playing the people on his schedule. And then when he played Oregon, he like his production didn't change at all. It was exact same. It's literally what he's been doing. Is what I'm saying. It's like if there was a drop off, then I could see okay, Travis Hunter is clearly the Heisman favorite better than him. But the fact there was no drop off, it was like the same thing. So I don't think the competition thing affects him at all, especially because like he had 3 touchdowns too. It's not like he just had a ton of
I don't
carries
know. I
and a
feel
ton
like
of
doing
yards.
it on a week in and week out basis is completely different from like
He
one. No,
is.
like if you're playing that level of competition week in and week out, I feel like that's a little bit different
But even Travis Hunter's
from
not putting up monster numbers week in and week out, even though he's playing both ways. He's not getting a pick every week. He's not getting
no,
you know what I
no,
mean?
but I feel like it's completely different argument because you can say I mean his presence on the field alone is going to draw attention. And they can
Okay,
double team him, so that's why he's not getting it, or they're just not going to throw it his way because he knows they're going to break it up, or they're not going to catch it.
okay,
So it's
but think
like,
about all the running backs that have been great since Barry Sanders, like all of them, Peterson, all these guys, LaDainian Thompson. Even them, they weren't getting close to the production, and that was in an era where they were getting more carries. You
yeah,
know?
but they're also playing the better competition week in and week out.
Yeah, I just don't think you can
That's just
like.
where I stand. That I mean, I think he's phenomenal. What he's doing is great. I'm just saying, just from a week in and week out competition basis.
Mhm.
Like, are you gonna go? Is he gonna go do that in the SEC? Like, do you think he's gonna have those same numbers against Tennessee's D line and Georgia's D line?
Well, it depends on who he's playing with. You also got to look at that because you're going to discredit who
No,
he's
but I'm
going
saying
against.
if you're
Oh,
go with Boise State, we're using this Boise State team. They make the playoffs, right?
mm-hmm.
And their
Yeah, I
first
think. Yeah,
matchup,
I
their
think.
first
Yeah, I
matchup
think.
against Georgia. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think he has that many rush yards against Georgia?
I think he runs for at least 100, and that's all you need to do against a team like that. And I also look at it like this, because yeah, you can use the argument of like him going against a Georgia, but also imagine if he was on a Georgia. Like he's playing
I
with
don't. But the thing is,
way
if he's
less
on a
talent.
Georgia, he's not going to get the productivity he's getting.
But
Is the
okay, but
thing.
you're comparing the other top running backs in the country, and he's still getting less carries than them. That's
Yeah,
all
but
I'm
the other
saying.
top
Is
running
like,
backs in the country are just playing better competition. Is what I'm
and
saying.
he's getting less carries than them, and he has way more yards than them. They have more carries, and not even, and he's still blowing them out of the water with 500 yards total or 250. Like that's substantial, and he's scoring. Like it's not like he's
But
just
like
like he.
Georgia Southern, bro, Portland State, Utah State, Hawaii.
Regardless, when he played Oregon, he lit him up. So like I look at it like that. It's like that's the competition thing doesn't matter.
I would just rather see the competition done week in and week out. That's
He
all I
can't
would rather
control
say. He
that,
can't
bro. Like
control it. You're correct.
he's
But
putting up the numbers.
that's just the gray area for me is if he was on a better team, a power four team,
He's
could he
his
do
team.
that week in and week out?
I would say yes because his talent around him would be even better.
But that's the thing. The talent around him is better, so he's not going to get the ball that much because they don't have to give him the rock to win the game. Like
Yeah, I
he's
mean maybe. I feel like
that's the
he's
thing. Like
dynamic enough to where he demands
if
he's
he's
going to
out of
demand
Georgia,
touches.
they're not gonna give him 30 touches a game, 26
Maybe it
touches a
depends on the
game.
talent you
No,
are. Like, I mean, if he
yeah,
goes to the
but
NFL, if he goes when he gets drafted, he's going to get that many touches in the league. Like, what's the difference? The league's better than all these teams.
that many touches, I don't think he'll get that many touches.
He doesn't get that many touches. What I'm
No,
trying
I'm
to
saying
say.
no, about 20, 20.
What's he get a game? Probably like how many carries does he get a game?
He has 126 carries. They played one,
Yeah, bro.
two,
He
three,
gets
four,
like
five, six.
he's had a game. He's had multiple games where he's had a game where he had 13 touches for 186, 11 for 127.
And who are
Okay,
they
he
all
had
against?
against worse teams. And then even in the best team he plays, hold on.
That's just my argument. That is just if he was in better team, if he was playing better competition, would he be doing the same thing?
I
Because
guarantee you he
obviously,
averages 16 to 17
like,
carries
so
his rookie year.
you're saying if you put who was number two, the old boy from Iowa, if you put Caleb
Okay.
Johnson and play him against Georgia Southern, Utah State, Portland State, he
No,
wouldn't
he's
have
not
to.
doing. He's not doing that. He's more explosive than these guys. Like his touchdowns are a breakaway. Like in all these games, long of 54, long of 75, long of 64, long of 68, long of 70, long of 77. That's why his average is so high because
Like even him, Omarion Hampton.
yeah, but he's not explosive like Jinty. That's why he has to break so many tackles, regardless
Yeah,
of
but
how
that's the
bad.
thing. Like if he's playing that competition, he's for sure breaking those boys off.
Yeah,
Pause.
but Jinty breaks tackles and he's explosive. I mean, he's running back number one on the board. Like, and the NFL doesn't look at who you play like that; they look at the tape, and like that's what I'm trying to say is like he's still like clearly the best back in the country. Even doesn't matter the competition. Like he might get drafted by the Cowboys at number 5.
I mean, I wouldn't chill on the number 5.
No,
Uh,
y'all, it's coming, dude. Y'all gonna
chill,
take. You know what I'm saying?
chill. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but like, I don't know.
I mean,
If
I don't know.
okay,
We'll see.
we'll just play what if game. Obviously, can't play what if games, but if he does get drafted to the NFL and his production just is just not good, what are you gonna say?
That's not going to happen, bro. Like, there's running backs that go to the NFL all the time. He's got the tools to be good. Like, he's
But that
got.
wasn't. What are you gonna say if it's just not good?
I mean, I just won't.
Just the
I just,
competition's
what if
better.
Travis Hunter isn't good at any position in the NFL? What if he's not good at receiver or DB? What
I
are we
mean,
going to
that
say?
is true.
That's a what? I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
That's true.
I think Jinty will be good in the league no matter where he goes to because I think he's just a special talent because what he's doing is special. Even against doesn't matter who he's playing. I mean, the dude literally stands straight up and runs for 200 yards a game. And I just want him to win, bro. Like running backs never win. I want Travis to win too. Like one of the two. I don't want a QB to win. Like I'm tired of like if Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel win. Like one of the dudes are those dudes are old too. Like at least Jinty and Travis Hunter are like juniors. You know what I'm saying?
How
so,
the hell did he just have this breakout season?
I mean, last year he was going crazy. Like that's a good.
That's a good. That's
a good ass season.
But like
he just got better, bro. That's like that shit is crazy.
You just see this shit.
Bro, this man already damn near has his season. He already has more touchdowns. Than
exactly.
Last year.
That's what I'm saying. How they're like, what the?
Last year, bro, he's going crazy.
What is going
That's
on?
what I'm saying. He's going. I mean, and he might go down as one of the best. I mean, ever since he's gotten to college, he's been cooking, bro. Yeah. Like he might finish.
I don't know. We'll see.
With 4,000 yards in 3 seasons.
We'll see. I mean, I think it's more impressive to play both sides of the ball at the pace that they're playing at. That's just me.
I agree.
But
I honestly, too, think it depends on team success as well. Like, if Colorado is competing for a playoff spot, which they are right now, if they win the Big 12, I think that's really going to give Travis Hunter a leg up because obviously we're going to know he's going to be a big part of that. But also with Ashton Jinty, they beat UNLV and they cruise into the playoff as this group of 5 seed. I mean, hell, they could even be the 4 seed depending on how the Big 12 ends up cannibalizing itself towards the back half of the season. They could be the 4 seed.
Yeah.
So we'll just see.
We'll see. I mean, hey, a lot of football ahead of us, so anything can happen at this point. So we'll see. But enough of that talk. On to our week 9 matchups. You want to kick it off, Cam? I don't know where you want to start from, but I'll just take it back off you.
Yeah, we can go. I'm gonna try to go in order of the day. So we're gonna start it off. We'll probably skip the Ole Miss Oklahoma one unless we get some player props or something like that. We can maybe throw those in there. But if one of our teams are on here, we can kind of just go breeze over those, throw some props in there, things like that. But I'm gonna start off with Nebraska at Ohio State. Ohio State's obviously coming off a bye. They just lost to Oregon in a heartbreaking loss, and Nebraska just got slaughtered on the road against Indiana. So this is a game where we were looking at the schedule, and if you guys have been listening to 54 Yards, we thought Nebraska was going to be ranked in this game, and we knew Ohio State was going to be ranked in this game. We thought it was going to be a big time spot for Matt Rule in Nebraska, and it still is. They could have a bounce back game here. They could play Ohio State tough. This could be a get back on track game, especially in the Big Ten. Like, Nebraska wins out, they can make the playoff, right? So, I don't think this game is going to be relatively close. I do think 25 points is a lot. I think it's a lot, and I do think the over is kind of a lot as well. I think Nebraska make some adjustments. I do think they play better on defense, and I do think they keep this closer than what people expect. But I also could see Ohio State coming off a bye, coming off a tough loss like that, just pitting belt to ass on Nebraska as well. So this is kind of a tough game for me to kind of pick the spread and all that. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Nebraska to lose, but then for them to cover the spread is what I got here.
All righty. So with Nebraska coming off the worst loss than us, the real belt to ass over there on that game.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
I think that they bounced back. I mean, both coming off a loss, so both of them is kind of like we gotta bounce back. We obviously it's to see what team has the better bounce back. It's looking like Ohio State, but what the coach that Matt Rule is, I also wouldn't be surprised if it's Nebraska. They can have a great defense and contain Ohio
I mean,
State for a little bit, but I think
mm,
towards the end of the game is kind of when it gets out of hand, just because they just have too much talent for them to hold them consistently for 4 quarters. But I'm with you. I think the spread is a little high, and I think it starts to slip away at the end, but it'll be close at halftime, and then after halftime it'll just kind of slip out of the hands. But I'm gonna go with the Nebraska covering the spread, and I'm actually.
let's see if I got any player props.
I don't know if I'm gonna take the over on the points.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like
but
it.
I can I just can I just say Nebraska money line.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, if it's how you're feeling,
It's not how I'm feeling, but like I said, I love the upsets, and this will be a cool upset.
you're feeling ballsy. You feel
Yeah,
me?
but nah, I got Ohio State money line.
All right.
Um, but next, the unexpected game that we thought was just going to be another one on the schedule for them to win and cruise through, but none other than Notre Dame versus Navy. Oh, clicked on the wrong one. I am sorry. Uh, it's at MetLife, so someone's getting injured.
Dude, I'm so tired of these neutral damn games. Like, play them at the like. You know how cool this would be for this game to be at Navy. Like, obviously,
Bro,
yes,
that'd be
Navy and
good
Notre
for Navy.
Dame have okay. I guess I can kind of counter myself in this because Navy and Notre Dame do have massive fan bases. Navy's literally America. Like, they're located all over the place, and the Notre Dame is like college football. Like, Notre Dame fans are all over the place. So I can kind of understand why you want the game in New York. There's probably a ton of both fans there, but like, come on now, like, let's keep the neutral site games to honestly to the postseason. I think it's just the tradition of college football. Like, let's play these games on campus, please.
Where
But
is
sorry,
Navy?
it's in Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
Yeah, it's in like Annapolis, Maryland, or something like that.
All right. Well, I would like to have it at Navy, but it is what it is. I think it being a neutral site does favor Notre Dame a little bit more. Um, but this is going to be a tough game for Notre Dame. I think the spread is high on this game. And I think it's high because it's just the way that the Navy and Army teams play football. They just like to hold the ball and control the game as much as they can and dictate it. I think that that's what they're mainly going to try to do here is just hold the ball, hold the clock, like you said in the OU game. Just hold it 5 to 6 minutes a drive if you can, just to keep their offense out on the field. Um, but I think there's enough tape on Notre Dame to like kind of show that how you can move the ball against them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think this is going to be more of a slow, grindy game, is what I think
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's also a lot to prepare for it too. Like, Navy is a team that Navy and Army, both of them are teams that are just very hard to prepare for. I mean, the year Oklahoma made the playoffs with Kyler Murray and they won the Heisman, they barely beat Army by a touchdown, and Oklahoma literally scored on all 5 possessions. So that just obviously the defense is bad, but that just shows you like you have to be efficient playing a team like this. I personally don't think this game's going to be that close. The composite on the roster, I know Navy's better, but Notre Dame's I think Notre Dame's talent will really show up. And I think since you have a good Navy team, a Notre Dame team that's already lost in the season, they're going to be ready for this game. I think they'll be prepared. I think the talent will be too much for Navy and overwhelm them. And it'll kind of be like last year when these guys played in Ireland and it got out of hand. I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout like last year, but I do think Notre Dame.
I just don't know where like a Notre Dame success comes from because like I'll be honest, I thought Riley Leonard was gonna be way better than what he's playing this year.
Honestly, I feel like the injury really affected him.
Really?
I mean, when he was at Duke, dude, he was, and maybe it was Kevin Johns. I mean, we have Kevin Johns right now as our QB. He was the OC at Duke too, and you know what I'm saying, when Riley Leonard was slinging that pigskin. So maybe he gets it done for us. But I'm just saying, like,
I don't know, but just let's wait for him to come back. Oh,
you hear me? I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. But just you can't be. I mean, 118 for 177 out of 177. Yeah, 1182 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So your TD to pick ratio is 2-1, but you're 7 games in, and you've only thrown 6 touchdowns.
Can you go to Navy's offensive players? I want to see like how I want to see like the overview of like the offensive share. Like obviously we know they run the option, but I just want to see how many different players have like. Let's see. You go to rushing. Yeah, you got literally 5 players over 100 rushing yards, and all of them are averaging 5 yards a carry. So like that's pretty cool. Like to see that many people involved, and like obviously it's the whole offense, but like they actually got a receiver on there with 485, which is a lot for Navy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
they're averaging 44 points a game.
That's literally the only person they throw to.
So take the over?
Or 23 catches.
So take the over?
Nah, I don't know if they're gonna score this much on Notre Dame because this offense, like obviously it's hard to prepare for, but oh man, dude, I'm excited about this game, man. Unfortunately, they play at the same time as Oklahoma, so I'm gonna have to be.
But like I said, like I don't know where their success comes from because
they just got a good defense, Notre Dame.
I know, but they've scored a lot of points.
I think they get a lot of turnovers because their offensive production isn't really that crazy.
No,
I mean he's thrown six touchdowns. They have.
Well, he has 10 rushing touchdowns.
Damn, that's a lot. Okay, so maybe his legs are still as effective. I thought the injury made him like not as effective on the ground. That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, so I guess that's where that
Russian receiving.
Which I knew he was running a lot. I knew he was running a lot of touchdowns, but like for you to trust his legs more than his arm, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
I like just compared to last year to this year, it's just been a drastic drop off.
Yeah, last year, I mean, a lot of people were talking about him as a NFL QB. I don't know if he's. I mean, he'll probably get drafted, but I don't know if he'll last long in the league. So
yeah. But no, I'm excited for this game. I'm probably gonna take Navy to cover the spread and the under on the points for sure. They just like to hold the football. I think the total so high is because Navy and Notre Dame both score a lot of points in general. Mm-hmm. But I think this is going to be like a slow grudge match of a game.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it.
But on to the next. What we got, Cam?
Man, so next we got Washington at Indy. Actually, we kind of skipped a game.
Because you said UNLV weren't going to talk about the Boise State.
Oh yeah, you're right. All right, so we got Washington at Indiana. College game day is actually going to be in Bloomfield, so congrats to the Hoosiers. Games will be interesting. Indiana's quarterback did get banged up a little bit, so I think
isn't he out?
No, I think he might play. Let me see. See, this is the thing that I hope they change next year, especially with these expanded playoffs. If the SEC is going to be putting out injury reports, let's just do it in all the Power 4 conferences. Like, it helps everything. It helps, bettors. It helps coaches. Like
the first thing you said was bettors, huh?
Yeah, presented by Outlier, the smarter betting tool. Make sure you guys use link in the description for the 7-day free trial. But I mean, I don't know, man. I actually, dude, I hate that we play early, but I like it for us. But I really do want to watch a lot of these games because
shout out YouTube TV.
No, facts. I haven't really been able to watch Indiana like all the way through. So I kind of want to see like what the offense is talking about. I mean, we might be looking at one of their OCs, you know what I'm saying? So
All right.
I want to see. And bro, he's a dark horse Heisman. I mean, Indiana's
He
really
had thumb
good.
surgery.
Yeah, is he supposed to play though? I think he might miss.
Maybe back for Michigan State.
Okay, well,
So
this isn't double knockout, but
um so that's how many games is that?
that is just one.
One game. That's a quick turnaround.
Well, they really need him back for Michigan and Ohio State. Obviously, we know Michigan isn't that good, but
Yeah.
you just need him for that.
But you
game.
still got to win this game.
Yeah, and Washington's a good team. Obviously, this is Jed Fitch's first year, but they're not bad. They're 4-3. You know, it's probably gonna take a while. They also lost a lot of players to the NFL off that natty team. So, but yeah, I mean, I like Indiana in this spot. I think I like. I don't know if I like them to cover, but they are at home, so I think that place is going to be juiced up with College Game Day.
With College Game Day,
and
they're undefeated. They're ranked. They got a Big Ten conference title to play for. I mean, the stands are going to be vibrating. It's going to be jumping.
And I think their offensive coordinator and their coach are just really good at scheming. And I think I don't think it's going to matter who's at QB. I think they're going to be able to score some points.
The backup didn't do bad against Tavon Jackson.
Was that his first action in a game? Click it.
It looks like it looks. It's a
go to the game. Like the game that last game and go to the.
It's looking like it.
Yeah, he put up 91.
It's not his first action, but it was like
7 for 8.
His
91
first
yards.
His first action. I guess you go. I mean, 3 for 3 and 104. That I don't count that. That's just.
Yeah, whatever. 7 for 8, 87.5% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns. So clearly they can scheme some stuff up. They still got the receivers on the outside, so that's not changing.
And he ran a little bit. I don't know like how good his run game is, but he did run a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But I like it. I mean, I like it. I like Indiana in this spot. A prop I do like. They have a receiver that I had in the slip last week. If he's on here, I got to remember his name. He is Elijah Sarrett. Over passing yards on Prize Picks, 66.5. He had 65 last week, but he had 135 against Northwestern, 128 against Maryland. And I think the young QB will rely on him, and they'll probably scheme some stuff up to get him the football more in this game. So if you want to take a prop, take that one.
Yeah. I like it for Indiana. I think the backup quarterback does enough. Washington's defense isn't great, especially the pass defense, I'm pretty sure it is. As long as you can keep their offense to a minimum, because they can get explosive at times. They have some good receivers. They have a good enough quarterback that can get the job done. So as long as you can contain their offense a little bit, I think they just kind of run away with this game.
Carlos, are you signed into Outlier on your PC by chance?
I am signed into Outlier, the better betting tool.
If you don't mind, pull that up because they have some other things we can look at too, and we're looking at some of these chips and slips.
Bet.
It's outlier.bet. There you go.
Let me just do this.
Hit start betting.
I'm signed in on my other web browser.
Try it.
No, I'm signed on my own.
Because I like how it has like all the team statistics, and it has like strength of schedule, common opponent, stuff like that. We can
I'm looking
incorporate
at that, but yeah. So I got this game for Indiana. I think they cover the spread. They're over on the points. They still handle business as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
Next game.
Next game.
We're gonna skip that. OU Ole Miss. We already talked about them. Go Rebels. OU sucks. 11 o'clock kickoff. ESPN. Don't even bother turning it on.
Okay. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot different.
I'm kidding.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not feeling great.
But Illinois versus Oregon. If you wanna.
Yeah, this game is interesting, man. You got Illinois going against Oregon. Oregon obviously had a great performance. The game's on freaking Peacock, which is so stupid. Well, CBS and Peacock, so I guess it'll be CBS. CBS game of the week. Illinois, very, very solid football team. I mean, they've handled their tests. They beat Michigan last week. They beat Nebraska earlier in the year. They barely lost Penn State on the road. I think this is a game. I don't know if they'll match up with Oregon's personnel offensively and defensively and just the skill they have on the roster. But I do think Illinois will put up a good game plan, and their quarterback's very efficient. I mean, Luke Altmaier on the year has 15 touchdowns and 1 interception. Dude doesn't turn the football over. And the thing is, it's not like they're like, oh, don't throw the football. Like, he's capable of throwing the football. I mean, he threw for like 300 yards on Nebraska. So this is an interesting game. I like Oregon at home just because they are at home. I think 21 and a half is a lot of points, especially for Bill Bielema team. He's going to have them prepared. He's going to have them playing good defense. And he's a physical coach, and his teams don't play physical. And I think that matchup with Oregon can cause some issues. I do think Oregon will have enough personnel to outmatch them and beat them. But I like Illinois to cover, and I like the under on the points at 54.5.
So here we are. Um, I said it before and I'll say it again. I have Oregon winning the Big Ten championship, so I guess I got to ride and die on that hill. But they just don't look like a number one team to me, and I think that the number one team is cursed. Uh, this season at least. Illinois, they're a good team. I think they're a good enough team to beat Oregon. The thing is, Oregon just very good offensively, like we know them to be. They just have created explosive plays. They have explosive receivers. Don't know how they let Evan Stewart get over there, but they did. And that's just kind of where they beat you. I don't think that their defense is that great.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
not.
it looks. I mean, I guess it kind
It's
of
good.
looks
It's
like
20.
it, but like I said earlier, they haven't really played anybody. They played Ohio State, which was their first test, and they did beat them while cheating. Um, but the teams that they played, they just haven't really played anybody. So I think when you have a team like this who can kind of throw the ball a little bit, this will be the ultimate test, really. But
Mhm.
they're 21st in the pass yards in the FBS at 175.6 and tied 46 with the rush yards, allowing 122.3 a game. They do average about let up about 5 yards a play, which is huge. So if you can, build some momentum off that, um, you can kind of move the ball downfield and get things going. They don't
Mhm.
create a lot of turnovers, and they don't get a lot of sacks. Well, I guess they have 3 a game, which is kind of a lot actually. But
Yeah, and
you
Illinois
just got to get in
allows
the
3
red
a game.
zone. Really, if you get in the red
Yeah.
zone, that's huge.
Flip it, go to the top, and I want to see their offense, man. Let's see. The thing is their red zone efficiency isn't great because they can't kick field goals. I was watching what
They
game?
have
I think
two field goal kickers.
yeah, I was watching one game. I think it was against
It was a game before Oregon.
it's
I
against
mean, before
UCL.
Ohio State.
No, who were they playing at home where they did like they were going for it and stuff instead of kicking field goals?
Was it Oregon State?
No, they played them on the road. They also played UCLA on the road. It was a home game. It was against Michigan State. Michigan State. They were like struggling in the red zone. Dylan Gabriel
Yeah,
threw a
Michigan
pick,
State.
and stuff like that. So I think Illinois is gonna keep it close. They're gonna keep it
Yeah,
close. I
yeah.
don't think they're gonna win.
I'm
They'll keep
a
it close.
I am gonna go Illinois to win because I think that number one team is cursed right now. So if you have it, watch your back. But Luke Altmaier, he's having a great season. Like I said, if you can have a team that can possibly throw the ball, you never know. They haven't really been tested yet. They played Purdue with the backup quarterback. They played Michigan State, which isn't a really great football team.
Mhm.
UCLA as well. Oregon State. Like they just haven't really been tested this season. Idaho, Boise State. Yes, they beat Boise State, but I don't think Boise State's quarterback is that good, or they don't have that great receivers like that.
Mhm.
So if you bring in a team who can throw the ball a little bit, um, you might be able to spread their defense out and create some problems. So I'm gonna go with an upset on the road, which probably won't happen. Obviously, them to cover the spread and the money line and the over on the points. I think it's gonna
Alrighty.
be a shootout.
Okay. All right. I like it. Opposite of me. 2:30. We got we're gonna skip the Texas game, but we're gonna go talk about a really sneaky SEC game for both teams. I think this is a playoff game essentially for both teams. Alabama has to win in order to make the playoff as an at-large bid, and Missouri has to win in order to potentially play for the SEC title and also make the playoffs themselves. 21 Missouri at Alabama at 2:30, and this game is interesting because obviously we don't know what kind of version of Alabama we're going to get to show up. I think they've already kind of played. Well, they still got some other people they got to play on their schedule, but I don't know, man. I think the loss at Tennessee and then a scary close game against South Carolina. I think Alabama will play pissed off and they'll be at home, play their brand of football. And I just don't think. Oh, and Brady Cook is out this game. I saw a tweet actually.
He got hurt last game. The backup came in.
So I think that alone is already a huge factor. And I think Alabama rolls here. I think they cover too. Missouri just isn't that good to me. Yeah, they're 6-1, but they've had a lot of close, sneaky games. I mean, they barely beat Auburn. They should have lost to Vanderbilt. They barely beat Boston College. And then when they finally played a team that was like a contender in the conference or on equal par or better, or like better talent wise in the Aggies, they got splattered. So I think, and that was on the road as well. So I think that's going to kind of happen against Alabama in this game. I don't think Missouri is going to keep it close at all. I like Alabama to cover, and I like the over on the points. I think Alabama shows out a little bit.
Yeah, I think just with the quarterback being out, I think that does hurt. I would say if Cook was in, that they would probably win this game just because the offensive talent that they have just with the receiving core and the DBs that Alabama has is just a bad matchup for them. But unless the backup can throw the ball a little bit, which he did fine. Well, he won them the game against Auburn. Thank you. But you're playing a different beast in Alabama. I just don't know if they play pissed off. There's just so much uncertainty around this current Alabama team. It's inconsistent. You don't know if they're actually really that good, or they just don't play to their potential. But they have all the guys to do it. So it's like, why are you not?
Yeah, and I mean they lit up Georgia, right? Like that's
So it's like I just don't know about this Alabama team.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's definitely some question marks. I like Prize Picks prop. I like is Ryan Williams over 69.5 receiving yards. I mean, every time you see that line, I mean, I think he's hit this. He's literally hit this line 4 out of his last 5 games. He didn't get hit it against South Carolina because that game was just like a little drunk as it is. But, I mean, he had 73 on Tennessee. He's clearly Jalen Monroe's go-to guy. Missouri they gave up a lot in the pass game against A&M, and I just don't know if their defenses. They just have a lot of stuff that they didn't have last year, or they don't have a lot of stuff that they had last year. Their defense is worse. They give up. Their pass defense is good, but I guess it just depends on who they played.
No, this is Missouri's pass defense. The pass defense for Alabama is giving up 210.6 a game.
So they're like average,
and they're giving up 141.3 rushing yards a game. So
yeah, their defense is average.
So giving up about 350 yards a game.
Yeah, their defense is average. So Missouri should have success, but like we said, Brady Cook's will be out the game. And then Missouri's pass defense is good, but like I said, they haven't really on their schedule. They haven't really played teams that can challenge them like Alabama.
And when they did,
yeah,
they got absolutely cooked.
Yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen.
A&M just dog walked them on the
Connor Wegman looks like the NFL prospect they always talk about. So
until he doesn't.
Before we talk about the marquee matchup, we're going to talk about Miami.
Okay. I'm sorry. So go ahead.
We're going to talk about No, you're good. We're going to talk about Miami at Florida State. This game is not going to be close. Obviously, we know Miami has been kind of bullshitting and getting lucky the last 3 games they played. But I think Mario Cristobal, being a Miami graduate, being an ex-Miami player, playing against Florida State, the last time Florida State was last year the game was close, but the year before that, when Miami was home and Florida State went in there, Florida State dog walked them, beat them like 45-3 or something like that. I think that's going to stick in Mario Cristobal's mind. Florida State is dead right now. They're down. If you're Miami, you go into this game and you got to put it on them, not only to show kind of the committee rankings that are coming up soon that you're not like this fraudulent team that's getting kind of lucky and escape by in these games, but Florida State, it's your arch rival. You gotta spank them how you did Florida early in the year. You got to make a statement. There's more on this game than just a win and loss. You recruit against Florida State. They're a team that's down. You want to continue to use that momentum. Like, hey, you got kids choosing between Florida, and Miami. It's like, hey, you want to come to Miami? We're competing for natties. These other two programs are kind of down, dead in the water. So I think that's going to be an intrinsic motivator. Obviously, Florida State's going to be up for this game. They could play spoiler. They have nothing to lose. They're 1-6, but I just don't think they're good enough to even make it competitive. I think Cam Ward should have a field day, and this game should be over by halftime. Cam Ward over touchdown passes.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep beating the dead horse was down and like all these other teams. I mean, they just struggled against Duke, who offensively isn't great, and they still couldn't beat them to like put points on the board. Um, I mean, lost against Clemson 29-13.
That's
It's
me blew them out.
just SMU blew them out. Like it's just not looking good when you're playing the better teams, and and Miami has an offense from hell.
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing with the backup quarterback. You're already 1-6 on the season. You're playing against a Heisman finalist. I'm gonna say just because you got
For
Jensen,
sure.
you don't know he's, so a Heisman finalist, and someone that's just playing amazing football. Like I said, you can beat Miami because you can score points on their defense. You just got to contain Cam Ward. But this team cannot score points. I mean, if we're looking at it, their offense. I mean, they're throw for 230. I mean, 203.1 yards, which is not a lot, and they rush for 72. Like if you're not even getting 300 yards a game,
Yeah.
you can't expect you to win games when you can't get 300 yards a game.
I agree.
So, like I said, offense from hell. Their defense is good enough to have Florida State not score points. It's just I'm with you. They take anything Cam Ward because it's going to be ugly, and I don't think that they're going to rest the starters. I think they're gonna lay them on of all four quarters.
Yeah, I like it. Last marquee matchup before we get to Carlos's under
The
the radar
marquee
game.
matchup. I think it is the best game this weekend.
For sure. And I'm glad it's at night. Thank God. But we got LSU Go Tigers, honorary LSU fan right here. My sister's there, and we do not like A&M. They're going against the Aggies.
I
Garrett
didn't know people
Nussmeier.
did.
There is a few that like him. But Garrett Nussmeier, he said in an interview earlier this week, he's like, it's loud there, but it ain't no Death Valley. And obviously the A&M fans are going to be crying and boo-hooing like, oh, we are so loud, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, he is right. Death Valley is different. Like, it's not the same. And in my opinion, I've said it off camera, but I think Garrett Nussmeier right now is the best quarterback in the SEC. I mean, yeah, he does turn the ball over at times, but he's just a gunslinger. But, man, does he make big-time throws all the time in every big game he's played. And his receivers are LSU receivers. You know what they're going to be about. They're going to be dogs. They're going to be elite on the outside. And I just don't think A&M, I think, this is an interesting game because LSU arguably has the best offensive line in the country along with Texas. They have really good guys up there, really good up front, very good wide receivers. And the defense is actually playing a lot better since Harold Perkins went out with a season-end injury. They look a lot better. And, we mentioned it in the week after show. There's going to be teams that are going to play up and down all season. And LSU's kind of finally hitting. They look like they're peaking now, right? I feel like they're peaking at the right time. Obviously, they still got a tough remaining of their schedule. But this is a big-time game. It's probably the biggest game at A&M in a long time. I mean, A&M is undefeated in conference play. They're going to be fired up. Mike Oko is doing a tremendous job in year one there. Defense is playing really good. So, I like the spread 2.5. It's basically a pick 'em, right? I like LSU here though. I just think they'll find a way to create some points. I think their defense will get a couple stops because Connor Wegman I just don't think is like that, and I think LSU just has more on offense, which will have them pull out a tough game here. So
So this is that was my the big question mark was how does LSU's offensive line go up against A&M's defensive line? That's
mhm,
ultimately where the game's going to be won.
mhm,
Really, is LSU's offensive line versus A&M's defensive line. I think
mhm,
that is going to determine the game. If LSU can continue to dominate the offensive line like they have been, I
mhm,
think LSU. I mean, I think A&M's in for a rude awakening.
mhm,
Um, it's not hard to play there. I used to
mhm.
think it was, and then you showed me otherwise. But it's not hard to play there. You just saw Notre Dame going at the beginning of the year and win, um, while having I think it was a sold out game plus some. It was like 103,000 or
Mhm,
something screaming.
mhm,
So like it shows that it's possible to win there. It's not that
mhm,
scary. Um, A&M's offense isn't that great. I think a lot of it comes from their running back success. So if LSU's D line can stop that running back success, because they have two running backs. They have Moss, and I think the other one's name is Daniels or something.
mhm.
If they can stop both of them, really Moss, Le'Veon Moss, I think they have good success because Connor Wegman just isn't. He's not what everybody thought he was supposed to be. He does turn the ball over a lot. I mean, you just saw it in the Mississippi State game last week. He had two of them against a team that you shouldn't be having turnovers in general. Um, so I do think LSU wins this game. I do think they cover the spread. I'm probably going to go with the over on the points because I do think there'll be a lot of points scored in this game. Um, whether that's one side of the ball or it just be kind of A&M just tries to score late and whatnot. But I do think LSU does take care of business, and all these Aggies can shut up about being undefeated at the top of the conference.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. It's crazy that A&M's already played four
And shout out
conference.
Cade Durham, man, Texas boy
Yeah,
doing his thing on the big stage.
yeah, he's looking great, man. It's cool that he took that running back one position is he's took it over. He looks really good, and I think that's honestly what's been helping LSU a lot is they actually can run the football too, and they got good receivers and a good quarterback and a good offensive line. So I think they just got everything clicking, and their defense is playing a lot better, enough to get them some stops. So I like LSU, man. I like the Tigers. I think they're peaking and they're playing some good football. Go Tigers! I'll be in my purple on Saturday night.
Go Tigers, go
So
Tigers.
all right.
All right, for the underrated game of the week, where are we at? Oh, I gotta
You're
go
in the top.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go here. I gotta go here. There's really two because I could say one that's one team is ranked in the top 25. So I'll give you two here. I don't know what time that other game was. Let me see if I find it real quick. Yes, one game Duke SMU, great game. SEC Network, 7 p.m. Two teams that can still play for the conference title. Don't think SMU has to go undefeated in conference play to be able to play for it, unless somehow, some way Miami does drop a game. But I don't think Clemson's dropping another game, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's any defense that's good enough in the ACC, and unless it is a Clemson to hold Miami's defense. I mean offense. So they have to win this game in order to play in the ACC championship.
Hmm.
Duke's offense is not very good, so they should have an easier time on the road at Duke, and go on and win this game.
Hmm. I like it.
Do you have
I
any?
agree. Yeah. I was thinking, yeah, I think SMU is just a better football team. I think Duke they've been winning, but I mean, their style of play, I think this is a bad matchup. They're playing a competent offense that will challenge them, and their offense can't really get anything generated. Um, so I just don't know if they'll be able to create enough stops. Like SMU is going to score points. So
Yeah. So the real ESPN game that should be on ESPN at 11 o'clock, but instead you have another team that's on there. You got Tulane. I guess that I can't say that because y'all beat Tulane, but you got Tulane versus North Texas. Now, two teams that are American, two teams that can play for the American Conference title, and
mhm.
we're in a day and age of football where you want to play for that conference title, especially if you're a Group of Five team. because you want to show that you deserve to be in the playoffs. I don't know if these two teams particularly make the playoffs, but you got to win these games in order to have to push for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real determination comes from the game this weekend. Now, Boise State does lose this weekend. Now, this does open up a whole world of
Mm-hmm.
options for the group of five. So I think you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to pray on their downfall going forward. But
Mm-hmm.
another big game, two great teams, both 5-2. Ex Sooner on the team, Chad Morris, and then going up against Tulane, which is a team that competed very well last year and still competing this year. Um, but yeah, 11 a.m. kickoff, ESPN2. I think this would be a great game. And it's two of the better group of five schools.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it. Tulane, it's a team I want to do well. Obviously, we play them. Same thing with Chandler Morris, North Texas as well. So this is a good game, man. These are teams that took their lumps in non-conference play, but they're starting to get rolling in their conference, which is usually what happens in the American. But the American is a loaded conference, man. I mean, you got Memphis in there, you got obviously both academy schools doing really well. So this is a conference where we've said it off camera, like and on camera, this is the best conference in our opinion in the group of five. So you definitely right now the group of five race is heating up. These are, like we were saying at the beginning of the episode, these are playoff games essentially for a lot of teams. Like you would never back in the day, like last year and the years prior, you would never talk about Tulane and North Texas potentially playing for maybe a playoff spot, depending on how things go. But right now it's a playoff game, teams could lose. These guys could keep winning. Whoever wins after this game get ranked, be the highest ranked group of five team, and get into that 12 spot. So I like it. This is a good pick, and I don't know who I got. I think I'm gonna go with Tulane. I just think they're just a little better from a personal standpoint than North Texas. So I kind of got to lean Tulane. I mean, I've seen them play too. I just think they played us pretty tough, even though we pulled away, and then they also should beat K-State, who is the best team outside of BYU in the Big 12. So
Yeah, I'm just gonna fair. I'm gonna go North Texas since you went Tulane and got to stick with the
okay,
Texas boys. Trying to go to the game. $21.
man, maybe if we get a tour soon.
Oh, oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh. What is this week
Week
9?
9.
Thank y'all for showing up for week 9 of college football. I know that the year is going by super, super fast. We wanted it to come quick, pause, but it's going by just as quick. So that's unfortunate, but it has still been an exciting year. And I think with the remainder of the schedules, I think the year hasn't even shown how much excitement it's going to have.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep watching, man. There's some crazy things been happening in college football this year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited, man. College football is at its peak now. Championship November around the corner, playoff poll ranking around the corner. There's a ton of good football games on, as we mentioned multiple times on this episode. These are playoff games, so don't think they're just a regular season game. These games have big implications on the rest of the season, and teams are going to start really having a battle to continue to stay in that hunt for those playoff spots. So exciting times ahead. If you guys haven't, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also use our 7-day free trial for Outlier Bet, the smarter betting tool. It gets some, plays, spread, money line, player props, anything to make you some money while you're watching and enjoying this football. So, yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in.
And I will say this: it has won me more money when I use it than when I don't. I will say that.
Absolutely.
I will say
Absolutely.
that.
So,
But that'll do it from your boy Cam and Los over here at 54 yards. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Hook 'em.
Boomer.